Greetings, friends. Welcome to ReligionThink. My name is Al Wayman, and we're going to be going over the influence of the Law Code of Hammurabi in certain parts of Genesis. I read an interesting article from the latest Biblical Archaeology magazine on Jacob and justice, and they talked about shepherd codes, especially when he went to work with his uncle Laban. And at the end of 31 in that section, he pleads his case using the shepherd code. However, there's some other interesting stuff that goes on that people may be unaware of. There's also the marriage idea, both in Genesis 30, when Rachel can't bear children, she gives her maid to Jacob, just like Sarah gave Hagar to Abraham. And what's interesting is there is a Hammurabi law code that allows people to plead their case and do that, which is pretty interesting. Here in the ancient Near Eastern text relating to the Old Testament, this would be Law Code 146 in Law Code of Hammurabi. So we'll read some of that. 146. When a citizen married a woman and she gave a female slave to her husband, and she has then borne children, if later that female slave has claimed equality with her mistress because she bore him children, her mistress may not sell her. She may mark her with the slave mark and count her among the slaves. If she did not bear children, the mistress may sell her. Hagar was not allowed to be sold because she bore Abraham children, according to that law. When a citizen married a woman and a fever has seized her, and he has made up his mind to marry another, he may marry her without divorcing his wife, whom the fever seized. She shall live in the house which he built, and he shall continue to support her as long as she lives. Um, 145. If a citizen married a woman and she did not provide him children, and he has made up his mind to marry a lay priestess, that citizen may marry the lay priestess, thus bringing her into his house, but with that lay priestess ranking in no way with the woman of the house. So that's interesting. So possibly Sarah, when she wanted to get rid of Hagar, felt that as the lady of the house she was being challenged in some way. So both, let's see, here Rachel in 30 and Sarah plead their case, and they're allowed to do that using the Law Code of Hammurabi. So let's get to the shepherds. We're going to look at Jacob's plea after he manipulates the breeding, takes off with half of Laban's flock. We're going to see how he pleads to Laban when Laban comes out after him thinking that he got ripped off. Here it is, 31:38. This is out of the JPS, Jewish Publication Society Study Bible, the Tanakh. This is Genesis 31:38, and this is Jacob's plea. And then we'll look at some shepherd law codes. These 20 years I have spent in your service, your ewes, she-goats never miscarried, nor did I feast on your rams from your flock, that which was torn by beasts. I never brought to you. I myself made good to the laws. You exacted it of me, whether scratched by day or snatched by night. Often scorching heat ravaged me by day, and frost by night, and sleep fled from my eyes. Of the 20 years that I spent in your household, I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, 6 years for your flocks, and you changed my wages time and again. Had not the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac been with me, you would have sent me away empty-handed. But God took notice of my play and toil of my hands, and he gave judgment last night. So, what's he making a plea to? He's making a plea to the Shepherd Law Code that we're going to look at right now. It's back in the 200s here. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. 264 of Law Code of Hammurabi. If a shepherd to whom cattle or sheep were given to pasture, being in receipt of his wages in full to his satisfaction, has then let the cattle decrease, and has let the sheep decrease, thus lessening the birth rate, he shall give increase in profit in accordance with the terms of his contract. If a shepherd to whom cattle or sheep were given to pasture became unfaithful, and hence has altered the cattle mark or sold them, they shall prove it against him, and he shall make good in cattle and sheep to the owner tenfold of what he stole. If a visitation of a god, or an act of God, or an accident, has occurred in the sheepfold, or a lion has made a kill, the shepherd shall prove himself innocent in the presence of God, but the owner of the sheepfold shall receive from him the animal stricken in the fold. If the shepherd was careless and has let lameness develop in the fold, the shepherd shall make good in cattle and sheep the loss though the lameness which he let develop in the fold give them to their owner. So that's just a few law codes there. I'll post these in the details section. Take a look at that, and that's why it's good to read some of this stuff. It gives you better insight into biblical literature and why people are doing some of the things they're doing and why they're saying some of the things that they're saying. It's really fascinating indeed. So take care, friends, and remember, if everyone's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.